Hi there. What does the Church of Nowhere think of the Illuminati? Well, the thing is that you always run the risk of what they call the straw man argument, where something is theoretically possible, but there's no evidence to prove that something actually is so. And it's easy to theorize, and it's easy to accuse people of things that you don't know they haven't done. Because it seems like they could do the things that you're accusing them of, but you have no proof that they actually have done any of the things that you accuse them of. So that's the problem with right there at the beginning. But the thing about it is that it is possible that there is a cabal of business people, people that own massive corporations and hedge funds that do run the world. I mean, I was interested to learn that UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party, actually does believe that there is a cabal of business people from China, the Middle East, India, Pakistan, uh, even from countries like that. Russia as well, and from the West, that actually want to completely dominate the world economically and to carve up the world between the members of this cabal, so that everything suits their businesses down to the ground, pretty much emasculates the competition, leading to an eventual monopolization of certain, I would say, certain controlling forces over certain industries, key industries for that matter, like manufacturing and extraction of minerals and things like that. So, and also, it's got to do very much with price setting, and price maintenance, and controlling the price of and value of different things as well. And to this end, they will pretty much do anything, legal or illegal, to further their business interests. So it's not because originally you see the Illuminati, the order of the Illuminati, was very much concerned with propagating the so-called Enlightenment, which is basically secularism, materialism, humanism, and atheism. And they were instrumental in perhaps in organizing the French Revolution amongst the middle classes or the intelligentsia of Paris. And the French Revolution was very much against religion, very much against Catholicism, of course, but any religion really. And if you see it now in France today, they hate cults, they hate any spiritual groups, they hate religion per se, any religion, not just mainstream religion, biblical religion as it might be called, but every religion. And they would like to replace religion with statism, and a sort of state religion, a kind of the state religion, I suppose, that we see in North Korea, and that we saw in Stalin's Soviet Union, a kind of, the kind of emperor worship, really. That's what it amounts to. And so that's basically, that's basically the role of the Illuminati, is to replace what they call superstition, a belief in God, a belief in metaphysics, with a belief that actually man is God, and that you're in charge of your own destiny. So that the fate is not decided by gods on Olympus, it's decided by your actions and your abilities, and your ability to be first, be smart, and cheat, basically. And that's what will determine your success in life, and nothing to do with keeping the rabbit's foot, or lighting a candle in a church, or saying a mass for your dear one to pass the exams, which still goes on in Ireland today. But I mean, they don't want deism, they don't want meditation, they don't want spirituality of any kind. because they are strict materialists, humanists, atheists, secularists, and so forth. And so that being said, but as far as the Illuminati is concerned now, if it does exist, it exists very much as an economic cabal. So it's really all about love, luck, and loot, or love or loot, basically, and making lots of money and continuing to make lots of money. But they would argue, you see, that by making lots of money, they are creating wealth and therefore creating jobs and opportunities for people like you and me. So that's how they would defend themselves. They wouldn't say that they were some kind of evil cabal trying to dominate the world and trying to monopolize everything, trying to, they wouldn't see it in that way. They see it in positive terms. They see that, that they're doing good in the world. Hence, the word illumination from the Illuminati means illumination. It means light, bringing light to people's consciousnesses, doing good. And if there is any connection with Freemasonry, Freemasons argue that they support loads of charities in their local sort of diocese or whatever they call it, and that they're not the bad guys, really. And also they argue that in any community you're going to have elites growing up. This is human nature. Sort of don't knock it, control it, make it honourable, make it have a certain amount of integrity, and so basically it's a sort of establishing a balance, I suppose, between integrity on one hand, honour on the other, and yet being thoroughly capitalist and money grubbing on the other. And I suppose the Freemasons would say that it's possible to serve two masters. One would be your own personal integrity, and the other would be the principle of profit making and accumulation of wealth and power. And it is possible, in fact, to serve two masters, and to be worldly on one hand, and yet also be honourable on the other. So I'm only saying it from their point of view, from how they would particularly defend this international business cabal, which could or could not be supported by Freemasonry on one hand and some kind of shadowy magical order of Illuminati on the other. And then, of course, the Illuminati can be taken in a metaphorical sense. It just means that we are dominated by greed and fear. And I suppose if the illumination is realizing that we are ruled by greed and fear, but sort of why knock it? Why sort of preach against greed and fear? Why not to use greed and fear to your own advantage and even to the advantage of your community? And greed and fear need not be an evil thing. It could be it could be two sides of a good coin. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of the things I see it from. But certainly, as far as conspiracy theories are concerned, well, maybe there are conspiracies and maybe they're not. I sometimes think to myself that 99% of the left wing of the UK and of the USA are in fact in the pay of the corporations, because if I was a corporation, I would pay people to come out with ridiculous arguments and ridiculous conspiracy theories against me, even bordering on sort of absurd metaphysical explanations that I'm some kind of reptile alien or something, in order to make out that these people that anybody who opposes corporatism is a nutter, is a complete nutcase, and they should be just ignored and given antidepressants or antipsychotic drugs and literally just, we won't take any notice of those people on the street corner talking about the New World Order. We'll just ignore them. So if I was a corporation, I'd be doing that. And I noticed, at this latest Labour Party conference in the UK, there was this little group of lobbyists lobbying for what they call Composite 13, And Composite 13 would have really made it very, very easy for the people that have an interest in this kind of thing to get their way within the Labour Party. And of course, it was supported by a lot of so-called left wingers in the Labour Party. And they would have completely destroyed the Labour Party, in fact, if they'd got this Composite 13 through the Labour Party conference. If it had been adopted by conference, it would have literally destroyed the Labour Party. So you do wonder what sort of agenda is being followed by these so-called left-wingers. And I've seen a lot of literature really going right back to the 1980s or 70s, really. This is not a new conspiracy by any means. A lot of people have said that they wonder about the left-wingers, they wonder about the political correct people, they wonder about all the feminists in the world, and really, what is their agenda? Who are they really serving? They could be serving the status quo in a sort of twisted kind of way by making the opposition to the status quo so wacky sounding that nobody will take the slightest notice of them. And then when the dog barks, nobody's in. No, I mean when people come out, that nobody looks at the actual policies of this rich cabal of economic moguls. It's all sort of personal. It's all kind of petty Twitter storms and things like that, and it's not even. It's got nothing to do with anything really. So that's my conspiracy theory, that you got to be very careful about the opposition, the loyal opposition, because it could be just dogs barking in the background for absolutely no reason at all. Or perhaps they do have a reason. I will go and investigate.